tariffs are the big hot topic right now. Tariffs or no tariff?
There's two ways to use tariffs. One is you can use it as a negotiating tool, and the other is you can use it as long-term economic policy. Now, I'll point out that at the time of the Founding Fathers, virtually 100% of all federal funds came in off tariffs. They used tariffs. George Washington imposed a 5% tariff on all products. That's where we got the money to deal. We did not have income tax. Income tax we had at times of war. So we had tariffs running the government, a few kind of product taxes that we had. But at the time of Abraham Lincoln, we got in the Civil War and there was so much money spent, they instituted a temporary income tax. And so that income tax, temporary tax that was there, it was temporary, got them through the war, then they got away from it and went back to tariffs. We kept tariffs, and that even as you get up to the 20th century, over 90% of federal income comes from tariffs. So when you look at the time of Woodrow Wilson, that's the first time we go to a progressive income tax where that we don't treat everyone the same. And by the way, just for tax policy in the Bible, God is into the flat tax, if you will, because I don't care. If you look at a tithe, he wants 10%. Whether you're rich or poor, it's 10%. Now, the poor will always pay less than the rich total amount, but everyone is treated exactly the same with that flat tax, if you will. So everyone has the same percentage. God doesn't say, well, if you're poor, it's only 2% tax, but if you're 2% tithe, and if you're rich, it's a 23%. He treats everybody the same. So that's the way we had the income tax until Woodrow Wilson. But even then, the income tax did not bring in much money. It was still tariffs and duties. And when you get to President Franklin Roosevelt, it's the first time really that tariffs and duties get set aside for an income tax. And so what we're living with now, thinking that duties and tariffs are unusual, that's only been in the last couple of generations. America existed on tariffs. And I think that's also a biblical teaching. You remember Jesus' economic teachings. When he was paying the temple tax, he looked at Peter, he said, Peter, who's supposed to be paying the taxes? The children or the foreigners? And Peter said, foreigners, of course. He said, that's true. Jesus agreed. He said, but so that no one will be offended, go down, catch a fish. When you get the fish, get the gold coin, go pay our temple tax. But Jesus pointed out that it is not the sons who pay the tax, it is the foreigners who pay the tax. And that's what a tariff and a duty does. It keeps the tax off the people and puts it on those that are outside. And so that's what Trump is doing right now. Most of us don't ask the question, why is it when you stand at an intersection in Europe, you never see an American car go through that intersection? Now, you stand at an American intersection here in America, you're going to see all sorts of cars go through. But in Europe, you won't see them. Why? Because they've got a 26% tariff on all American cars, which prices the American car out of the market. So we don't have any competition, which is why we're averaging $130 billion a month in a trade deficit right now. Hard to have a good economy when you're $130 billion a month in a trade deficit. And that's why those duties and those tariffs, that's the way it had been from the very beginning. I think that was Jesus's kind of idea that the sons don't pay the taxes. It's the foreigners that pay the taxes. And that's what you do with the tariff.
You and I must be twins, because I said exactly those words a week ago when I tried to explain to people out in Australia, Asia, trying to tell them this is what the Bible says, that Jesus says the sons of the kingdom are exempt from the tax and you should be using tariffs, and it seems so outside of America, you need to know people are saying that Trump is dangerous. Mm-hmm. He's going to destroy the world economy. He's going to destroy the share market. And I said, it's not going to happen. The share market will come back up. Mm-hmm. But I think that he has a plan that by dropping the share market, I think intentionally, that it then drove money into the treasury, into the bonds, and then that lowers the rates, which helps everybody. Even in Australia, they're talking about lowering the interest rates. One man, one leader with a strategic decision can lower expenses, oil price, and interest rate for everybody that's got a mortgage. You got to be happy. And Trump's done that without the cooperation of the Fed and other people who don't want to play ball with him, and he just forced their hand.
You can read Pastor Steve Cioccolanti's prolific writing online or purchase a hard copy. Among his 5 Amazon #1 bestsellers, titles such as Trump's Unfinished Business, 10 Prophecies to Save America, and Scam-Proof Your Life in the End Times, Justice and Restoration for Christians. Use your phone camera to scan the QR code on the screen for great deals on these best-selling books. Or go to amazon.com/author/New York Times bestseller to get your copy online or paperback.